I can almost guarantee that this next story will be on the joke list tonight. Some people not so sure it's funny. One of Donald Trump's possible running mate contenders made this, some people would say, bizarre admission that has a lot of people angry.
Okay, here is the backstory. South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem released a new book. The Guardian got its hands on a copy, and the outlet is flagging a section in which she describes killing her dog named Cricket.
So the easy way to explain what happened here, if you haven't read it, is to read it out loud to you. So we have the main part of the article, and we're just going to read it. Okay? So listen in.
All right, so it begins here. Cricket was a wire hair pointer, about 14 months old, she says, adding that the dog, a female, had a aggressive personality and needed to be trained to be used for hunting pheasants.
She includes her story about the ill-fated Cricket, she says, to illustrate her willingness in politics as well as in South Dakota life to do anything, quote, difficult, messy, and ugly, end quote, if it simply needs to be done. By taking Cricket on a pheasant hunt with older dogs, Noem says she hoped to calm the young dog down and begin to teach her how to behave.
It's just a puppy. All right, unfortunately, Cricket ruined the hunt, she said, going, quote, out of her mind with excitement, chasing all the birds and having the time of her life. Noem describes calling Cricket, then using an electronic collar to attempt to bring her under control. Nothing worked. Then, on the way home after the hunt, as Noem stopped to talk to a local family, Cricket escaped Noem's truck and attacked the family's chickens.
So, quote, grabbing one chicken at a time, crunching it to death with one bite, then dropping it to attack another. Cricket, the untrainable dog, Noem writes, behaved like a, quote, trained assassin. When Noem finally grabbed Cricket, she says the dog, quote, whipped around to bite me. Then, as the chicken's owner wept, Noem repeatedly apologized, wrote the shocked family a check, quote, for the price they asked, and helped them dispose of the carcasses littering the scene of the crime.
Okay, through it all, Noem says Cricket was, quote, the picture of pure joy. I hated that dog, Noem writes, adding that Cricket had proved herself, quote, untrainable, dangerous to anyone she came in contact with, and less than worthless as a hunting dog.
So at that moment, Noem says, I realized I had to put her down. Noem, who also represented her state in Congress for 8 years, got her gun, then led Cricket to a gravel pit. It was not a pleasant job, she writes, but it had to be done. And after it was over, I realized another unpleasant job needed to be done. Incredibly, Noem's tale of slaughter is not finished.
Her family, she writes, also owned a male goat that was nasty and mean because it had not been castrated.
Naturally.
Furthermore, as one knows, the goat smelled disgusting, musky, rancid, and loved to chase Noem's children, knocking them down and ruining their clothes.
Noem decided to kill the unnamed goat the same way she had just killed Cricket the dog. But though she dragged him to a gravel pit, the goat jumped as she shot and therefore survived the wound. Noem says she went back to her truck, retrieved another shell, and hurried back to the gravel pit and put him down. At that point, Noem writes, she realized the construction crew had watched her kill both animals. The startled workers swiftly got back to work, she writes, only for a school bus to arrive and drop off Noem's children.
Kennedy looked around confused. Noem writes of her daughter who asked, hey, where's Cricket? This is not a joke. If you are thinking this is not true, Noem has now defended the scenes in the statements that she made in her own book, saying she loves animals, but tough decisions happen all the time on a farm. In fact, she says they recently put down 3 horses. I don't know how to bring the panel back after that, but I'm going to do it now. We've got S.E. Cupp, Van Lathan, Van Jones, Scott Jennings, and our Kerry champion all standing by. Journalistically, I know that I need to sort of say, you can't kill a dog or a goat like that. It's insane.
Well,
Your comments?
It's not Old Yeller, that's for sure. Listen, 2 things. I hunt over dogs. It's a thing. They don't have to be put down if they're not great at hunting.
Right.
There are 1,000 other things you can do with them before you have to kill it for really no good reason. 2, This is a thing that some women politicians do. You remember Joni Ernst talking about castrating pigs when she was coming into the Senate? To talk about like rural life, life on the farm, makes them seem a little tough maybe. It's not a thing any of us need as voters. We don't need to hear about it. Save that trauma for your therapist, man.
Karen, I can't tell what you're thinking. I see a look on your face and I can't tell what's going on.
Well, I'm a dog owner. I had a dog who recently passed, had her for 18 years. So I'm at the humanity aspect of it. I don't know. I have never lived on a farm, and believe it or not, I think there are people somewhere in Middle America, or wherever they live, that can understand what she said. I don't know who they are. I can't quite understand that, and I don't know why it needs to be documented. But there's this thing where people want, to your point, some sort of credibility. I don't know what she felt like that would make her look like or feel like, or if people were going to say that this is what I want, someone who knows this no nonsense. It's really disgusting, and I think also traumatizing. And she writes that the dog behaved like a trained assassin. I said, who says? Like, didn't you
If
be
you're a hunting dog, that is your job to go after the things you're hunting.
We have to be smart about it. This lady snapped.
No, she does this, but they do this.
She
That's a
went on an animal rampage killing spree, and it was all across the areas of zoology. She done killed 3 horses, a goat, and a dog. Like, this is troubling.
In front of children.
In front of children.
Her own daughter.
A 14. Where's Cricket? What? God, that's like a Stephen King novel. What are we supposed to make of that?
Yeah.
It's insane.
I am doing my best. There's 2 aspects of this, and I absolutely, Carrie, understand the aspect as a dog owner, having that visceral reaction to someone describing this. So there's what she did, and people can take that for what it is, judge it as they want. Sure. And then there's the decision to write about it. Yeah. Not just write about it, but frankly to brag about it, and brag about it because you think you're going to get something out of it.
First of all, on your screen, he's breathing a sigh of relief tonight, the president. He was the worst dog owner in America. We still don't know what happened to Commander, by the way. We have no idea. Now Kristi Noem is the worst. So congratulations, Joe Biden. You've gone down.
We should jump in and say that his dogs were attacking people in the White House and bit
biting numerous Secret Service agents. There's no bad
members,
dogs,
so.
only bad owners. Yeah, Governor DeVille Noem has a I mean, it gets cold in the Dakotas. She may have needed a coat. I don't know.
Oh my God.
This is a terrible PR problem. But worse, there are 2 other sort of technical terms. It's psychopath. Nobody shoots a puppy dog like this. I have a puppy right now. The way you communicate to dogs who are you call them by their full name instead of their first name. So whenever my bulldog Elvis, like when he jumps on the kitchen table, you just got to. If I say Elvis J. Bulldoggington III, then he will jump down. I never have contemplated shooting him off of the kitchen table.
Wild.
You can send them to the pound if you really. I mean that's heartbreaking.
Or training.
But you can
How about
train them.
training?
There's lots of things you can
That
do.
simple.
Okay, so Van Jones and Scott, anybody at the table, but Van, is she still in the running for VP? Especially after this.
Lyndon Johnson picked up a beagle by the ears.
Yes.
Yeah.
And soon was out of the presidential race for a number of reasons. Vietnam was one of them. But abusing dogs has a pretty poor track record of advancing political careers. I think she's out.
Mitt Romney,
Yes.
who
Yes,
I
Mitt
covered
Romney.
extensively, talked about how on a
Romney's
family
a
road
monster.
trip, they put a dog on the roof in a cage. And
it drooled.
The dog got sick. And it hurt him in the campaign. It
people went
actually was a thing where people, that's a different planet.
Well, and that was ridiculous. You remember, because I was there, you were all there when Democrats made Mitt Romney a monster. Among other things, he was an animal killer and all. That was garbage.
tried to hire women.
This is
He tried to hire women.
He tried to hire women. He was a sexist pig. This is a self-induced.
Unforced error.
Nobody would have known this
Unforced
story
error,
except for
you
her
don't-
daughter.
But
Need
she
it.
thought that communicating this to the
thought she
electorate
done
in some
something.
way would help her.
Yes.
Is
Well,
there
so
not
what
if it does?
Okay,
Oh, it
well,
might.
No. Is there not a staffer or consultant anywhere within 100 miles of this governor that's like, hey, I know you love that story.
Right. Don't tell it.
Hello.
But maybe
Yeah.
we don't put it in the book.
And also
Maybe we
stop
take. Is there an
doing-
editor at the
editor.
publisher?
Right.
That's the
And also
question.
stop doing commercials for like dental implants and other weird stuff. She's on a weird one.
We should note that someone did complain and is hoping that she gets charged with animal cruelty. So there is a complaint out there after reading this because people were so disturbed after
disturbing.
seeing the story. And then the very last thing, just hearing that her daughter was like, "Where's Cricket?" That hurt me.
that was
No, I wonder if
sad.
she was trying to get out in front of the story somehow because she thought her daughter would leak it to the press. So,
Or those construction
Or the
workers.
construction
Those construction workers were going to talk.
All right.
yeah.
Yep. Nothing else to say.
But is there a world in which Donald Trump loves this? I would not put that past him, but I don't know.
Even Donald Trump, I mean, like, he has basic political instincts. I think people are shocked and appalled. And I thought, honestly, once you read it, you would say, "Oh, well, this makes sense."
Yeah.
Every line was more horrifying.
That's why I read the whole thing. So
Like,
people
like
fully understand.
after you've murdered the dog, why would you talk about the fact that your child? Why would you talk about the fact like it just got worse and worse? Yeah.
Right.
All right, everyone.
He's like, calm down. John's like, enough.
All right.
No, I just because
We've done it.
We're
We've
gonna
done it.
take a break.